We're back. Oh, puberty. I just voice cracked.
Wow, I was about to try to join that, and I'm really happy I didn't, so we could hear that voice crack loud and clear.
We're back.
We're back.
Well, puberty. Just I wanted to let you all know. 2022, new year, new me, literally.
He's gone back in time. It's been a moment, and we're here to support you on this journey.
Yeah, and we're actually recording this on the first day of 2022.
Oh! Do you like how I fully tweeted before we even recorded the episodes? I was like, we're coming back this week. And I was like, well, no going back now. We said that we were coming back.
Also, Beth may or may not become robotic because she is currently filming from a white woman's house in suburbia. As you can tell,
it's not suburbia. I am in the middle of the woods, but I am like white woman in the middle of the woods. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. And I am blessed.
And if you are audio only, she's got like that live, laugh, love vibe from Beth's background. She's currently at her parents' house.
Yes, this is. Could you imagine if I just like put that? What if that's the LED lights I got? Like for like.
No, you should just get LED lights of live, laugh, love.
No,
just neon, live, laugh.
But I want them to flash like different colors. Like love it. I mean, love should be red because I feel like it's really passionate. Live should be like green. Passionate. Laugh should be like yellow, maybe. I don't know. I'm really into this now.
It's like my vibe, and I'm totes vibing.
Listen, I might be stressed, but I'm also blessed.
Oh, I dig it. Well, I hope you all didn't get too turned, whether that was on alcohol or on COVID while we were gone.
I thought you were going to say Coke. I don't know why.
Cocaine.
I hope that it wasn't on alcohol or on Coke. I was like,
amphetamines, you know, just
drop some Molly, you know.
Things.
Just Christmas things.
Hopefully you all enjoyed the holiday break. We certainly did, but we're glad to be back with Hot Mess Moments in 2022.
I'm very excited to be back with you. I was just remarking before we went live, it's been a couple weeks since we've even like spoken to each other. Like we've exchanged messages. I also, so like full disclosure, and I didn't even say this to you yet, like I literally could not figure out what to get you for Christmas. So I literally went like,
I love the gift you got me. The pink Kirby beanie is so cute, and I love the Switch cover.
I thought it was cute. And I was like, you know, the nice thing about a Switch cover is like, I couldn't care less if you decide to use it or not, but just to have like, even like, I mean, or even you could just like use it on the back and not the, like the paddles or whatever you want to use it. But I just thought it was so funny. I was like, what does Dylan like? And I don't know why, but my brain just was like, I think he likes Kirby. And
I love Kirby.
So I just like zeroed in on Etsy and just Kirby stuff. And I'm going to be 100% honest. The hat, I was like 100% this. I got to get this for Dylan. And then I got Nigel, your husband. I got
so cute.
Him a cute case. And I was like, oh, what if I got Dylan a case as well? So I tried to find a cute Kirby case to go with it. But
it was adorable.
Literally, I sat back and I could not figure out, like, you were the hardest person for me to buy for this whole Christmas
season.
Says
that. Everyone says that I'm so hard to shop for. I feel like I'm easy just because I literally will take anything.
Yeah, I didn't think that you'd be like, fuck this.
Yeah, like my husband was like worried I wouldn't, like he got me this. It's like a Mecha Godzilla figurine, and I'm like, this is fucking fire.
That's really cool.
And it's like a thing I can put on my desk. For those that don't know, it is a almost chibi version, but it's like significantly large. It's like the size bigger than it's about the size of my hand.
It's probably bigger than my hand.
Yeah, it's like a pretty big size figurine of a very detailed Mecha Godzilla. And it's like the perfect size for a desk. So I always have Mecha Godzilla looking at me while I work.
I think that's so cute. You have a constant reminder that your husband is a monster looking at you.
Oh my God. I didn't need that, but I have it now. So how was your holidays before we get into these episodes?
It's been good. I came up to the North Country of New York on the 20th with my brother and my sister-in-law. We drove up together, and then they left on this past Monday. And then I got to see my cousins who have 2 little boys, and I became obsessed with the boys. They became obsessed with me. And it was so funny because my cousin was like, wow, like they never take to anybody this quickly. Like it's like they're 4 and 3. And they were like, and she was like, well, you really just have a way with them. And I'm like, it's because I'm also a child. Like this, there's nothing I'm doing.
I've just been making fart jokes the entire night.
I mean, but seriously, like I was sitting there and like I had hours of entertainment of me just going up high, to the side, to the other side, down low, too slow, and then tickling them. Like literally did that for approximately 3 hours over the course of 5 days. And they loved it and just laughed, not me. And you know, it's perfect. So I can handle that kind of thing. And then I also like being the aunt figure where I go, okay, they're yours now. Bye.
Yeah, have fun.
Bye. That's a lot of energy. And they're pregnant with baby.
And you're like, there you go.
They're pregnant with baby number 3, which is going to be a 3rd boy. And I'm just like, whew, the energy that you're going to have in your house.
Oh, before I get into how my holiday went, we should introduce ourselves.
Why?
My name is Dylan Zahner, also known as 8-Bit Dylan Online. And Lost is my favorite show, but I've never seen The Nanny.
And I'm Beth Dixon, also known as Augusta Wind 11 online. And The Nanny is my all-time favorite show. I'm so excited that we're going to talk about 2 episodes today. But I've never seen Lost. And we will be back on Thursday with a double hitter for Lost. Like, I am so stoked.
It is so good.
We like literally left off right before something good was, or big was, not good, but like something big was going to happen. And I'm happy that you stopped before the major hit cliffhanger portion.
Yes. Because we're
it's
covering
been like a month.
Yeah, it's been a lot. So we're thirsty for episodes. We're going to have to double up on a few lost episodes to catch up to The Nanny. Because The Nanny, I think, is on we're on episode 16 now. And I think we stopped on like episode 13, maybe 14 on 13 Lost. I could be wrong.
Yeah. But I think if we do 2, we'll be right in line with it, which will be good.
But if we had stopped on like not the first episode we're going to watch, but the second episode, you probably would have murdered me. Like,
I'm not going to lie. And I'm going to put this out. Absolutely. I mean, you can count on this. If there's ever a time where I am on a mega cliffhanger and it's a month, I will go ahead and watch the episode without you. I will watch it again with you. And I will tell you straight up, Dylan, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this.
I can't do this anymore.
I can't do it, Dylan. I need to watch. That's what I would do.
Well, I will let you know. We will try not to have that large of a gap between big story elements of the show. But I want to tell you about my holiday break.
I was just going to say, tell me about your holidays.
So my holiday break actually kind of sucked in the sense that I couldn't go see my family because of COVID. It was just I got super sick. For those that don't know, I did not have COVID, but I got super sick over the holiday. And I literally, I'm not even kidding you, the day the holiday, like my holiday from work started, I got super sick. And I was like,
you've been sick before that too. Like you were sick earlier in the month with a cold.
Yeah. Well, this was the same cold. So yeah, no, I had this cold for about 2 weeks. So
I had my cold for 2 weeks, but mine ended literally the last day of the cold was the 19th. So I got to go home on the 20th and be like, good to go.
Yeah. Ooh. And it just ended on the 24th. Like I could tell in my body when it had gone away. And so I was like, we could make the drive up to see my family, but I was also like, I don't want to risk it because it could still be contagious and I'm not sure. So we foregoed the holidays. For those who don't know, my grandma, she can't have the vaccine. She got the first shot and it nearly killed her. And so they were like, hey, you can't get the vaccine. So she's been super safe. And so whenever we go to see her, we have to make sure that we're on like top of our game, masks, gloves, all that jazz, just to be safe. and I didn't want to risk it. And so I was
Yeah.
like, well, maybe I can go New Year's and we can go up then. But then everyone started getting COVID. And so I was like, the last thing we would want to do is like drive up. Plus, I hung out with my neighbor on Christmas, and my neighbor became positive with COVID.
Oh no.
And so we were scared that we had Omicron. And so
Yeah.
I had to self quarantine for 5 to 6 days. Thankfully, I mean, I haven't been tested. I could be asymptomatic, but I have
But if
never
you're
felt better.
asymptomatic, if you quarantine for 5 days post the exposure, the CDC now recommends a 5-day quarantine asymptomatically, and you're good.
Oh my God. Well, thankfully, I have not interacted with any humans. And
Yeah.
it's so hard to get a test out here and
It's
to
hard to get a
get,
test. Ugh. New York
girl,
City.
it's
New York
insane.
City. I want to put something out there. So I was not in New York City in March 2020. I moved down there, as many of you know, I moved in July of this past summer in 2021. And I had people telling me this is way worse than it was in March 2020. And like New York City is one of the most
Absolutely.
vaccinated cities in the world right now.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting, and we could go on and on about COVID or whatever, but I just like my brother and my sister-in-law and I were like, we're gonna drive up together on Monday, then we're gonna have family, we're gonna be in the middle woods, we'll be pretty well
Yeah.
quarantined.
Y'all are like super quarantined up
We're
there.
super quarantined up here. Like we'll go to the store or whatever, but there's like 6 people at the store, so it's like whatever.
Yeah.
Um, I I was supposed to go see Spider-Man 2 days before we were gonna go. I had tickets already lined up. I was gonna go with our good friend Tyler Lyons, and a couple of his family that were coming in from out of town. And I had a cold, didn't go out the weekend before because I was trying to just be respectful of the fact that I had a cold. I did get tested. I was negative for both a PCR and a rapid test, so I knew it was just a cold. And I was like, oh, I stayed inside and now everybody's going out and doing things. Guess what? Me being sick probably saved me from getting
Oh,
Omicron.
yeah.
Everybody I
Tyler,
know in New York
everyone.
City, for the
Yeah.
exception of maybe Tyler and maybe our friend Chase,
Yeah.
everybody else who I know in New York City literally got COVID that weekend, like that weekend. And so I was like, you know what? I don't want to go to a movie theater like 2 days
Yeah.
before I'm
It's
supposed to go
so
up.
unsafe.
So I went back, but when I tell you the lines for the free testing clinics and like the pop-up tents, like on the side, like literally the one that I go to every 2 weeks for work to get tested, where it's normally 10 minutes in and out, it was a 5.5 hour wait of the line.
Oh my God.
It went 4.5 blocks around, like it literally one of the days it was in front of my apartment and it's 2 blocks down from there. Like it was insane. So I was just like, I don't want to stand outside with other people who might be sick and like
Yeah, that's
might
weird.
expose
Yeah.
myself. So it was a whole thing. So everybody, please be safe, be smart,
Yeah.
and those kind of things. Ugh. And if you get exposed, like please quarantine yourself and like get tested within 5 days or so, like 3 to 5 days after
Yeah.
your exposure, get tested so that other people know whether or not they've gotten exposed. It's a whole thing.
It's I think it's like at that point where people need to start realizing that the minute you hang out with other people anywhere, you should be quarantining afterward. Like
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of people in Missouri only quarantining if they start showing symptoms, but like you are contagious 2 days before you start showing symptoms. So it's
Correct.
like that is why we're in this predicament. Like, and
And
no one is wearing masks in Missouri.
And that's the thing, like, thankfully,
Oh,
even in the places where there haven't been good about wearing masks in upstate New York, they're back to wearing masks, which I'm very happy for. But you're 100% right. A few months ago, when this wasn't a big spike, yeah, like you could hang out, and if you weren't symptomatic, whatever. But we're in a spike again. This is actually worse numbers than it was, and it's projected to be way worse numbers than it was in 2020. So we got to be smart again and buckle down.
yeah. I mean, thankfully for us, Omicron's not as lethal, but it is more like you can get transferred a lot more. I have a really funny story, and then we can get into the episodes.
Okay, sounds good.
So I went in to go get a rapid test just to see, because I was like, oh, my neighbor has Omicron. I should get a rapid test. Clearly, everyone had Omicron, so like there was no rapid test. So I see this woman come in, clearly looks sick, clearly. Red nose, she had been blowing her nose, like you could tell. Walks in, goes to one of the pharmacists, no mask on, and is like, do you have any rapid tests? And she's like, oh no, sorry, we get a new shipment tomorrow. I guess, but like I'm feeling sick now. And I wanted to be like, why are you not wearing a mask if you're feeling sick now? Like, how hard is this concept? And then she left. And I just wanted to be like, that poor worker, hopefully they did not get exposed to some sickness.
Okay, one last thing to wrap this section up. I want people to, there's been a lot of miscommunication, and I will say that there is some fault in the government and the media for some of this, for a lot of this.
Yeah.
Let's just put it like this in simple terms. Getting vaccinated is for you. Wearing a mask, keeping your distance, sanitizing, all that kind of stuff is for other people.
Oh, so, yeah.
Yes, the masks can potentially help you too. There is some level of protection, but what you're mostly doing is stopping your droplets from getting into the air that people can then, breathe in. So please wear a fucking mask. Wear a fucking mask. It is not that hard. Girl. And if you can't wear a mask, then don't fucking go out in public. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I don't care if you don't want to get vaccinated. That's about you at the end of the day. Like, if you want to continue to be the reason why this fucking shit is going on and keeps mutating, go for it, girl. You don't get vaccinated, whatever. But wear a fucking mask. Yeah, girl boss to your grave, bitch.
Germ boss, honey. Be a germ boss. Germ boss.
Wear a mask. Like,
you know who would wear a mask? Fran fucking Drescher.
You know that shit would have looked sick. It would have been so good. Oh my God, my dad just scared the crap out of me.
Hey, Daddy.
Oh, okay, thanks. We have some strong winds, so I have a flashlight in case the power goes out.
Well, I mean, if the power's out, you'll be gone. But I will continue on in your stead. Or this may be a short episode. Who knows? If it ends up, ooh, she's serving Nightmare on Beth Street.
Ew. You want to see my tonsils?
All right. Well, this has been fun, but we're done.
Yeah, that's it. Good times.
No. Let's get into these two episodes. We've got The Nanny, episode 15, Kindervelt Days, and episode 16, Canasta Masta.
She was there. That's how she became the nanny.
So these two episodes, pretty solid, I would have to say. They weren't terrible.
They're not terrible. No. I think of these episodes of being like a solid B. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to grade them, they're a solid B. They're 80, 85, like 83.
I would rate both these a 6 on a 10-point scale. Oh. Yeah. What?
I forgot that we rate out of a 10-point scale. Like literally every week. And
I was thinking like 6%.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking like, I was saying first I did like, the ABC kind of scale. And then I said, well, then maybe like out of 100, you do like blah, blah, blah. And then you said 6. And then I was like, out of 4.0, like thinking that, and I couldn't remember the scale. And then you're like, out of 10, which is the scale we literally use.
We literally always use.
Oh man, I'm so on vacation mode.
Which also doesn't make any sense, our 10-point scale, but who gives a shit?
No.
Because what are we rating it against? But
it's our show, so whatever.
It's our fucking show. It's our scoring system. But I would give it a 6. It's it's giving 6 energy, as the kids would say.
Yes,
but
giving.
Let's get into Kindervelt Days. So this episode, I know who Eric Estrada is. So I understood the obsession with his ass and his tight jeans and like when he was a part of Chips. So it makes sense like why this episode focuses on Eric Estrada. And honestly, I'm shocked that we haven't gotten more Eric Estrada. I'm surprised it's taken this long because I remember him being such like a sex symbol back in the day.
Yeah.
And so
Excuse me.
I appreciated Eric Estrada being in this. I also really liked that we got that really cute moment at the end of the episode between Max Sheffield and Fran. I will say very cheesy. Like
100%. 100%. My
and it
favorite
made me a little
thing,
uncomfortable. Like
I could tell that you were enjoying it and found it cringy at the same time because for those who are watching the video, this is my interpretation of Dylan's face the entire time. Ready?
That was me. That was I was like it's like a forced smile. Like that was me.
It started off genuine, and then I could because you were like, "Oh, they're dancing," but when he's like, "Let's
his face
really
gets so serious."
He gets so serious, and then he goes, "Well, then let's give them a show." Then that gets cringe, and I could see that you started off like, "Oh, is this gonna lead somewhere?" And then you ended with like, "Oh."
I'm like, this is a thing. I appreciate this. Oh, okay. I was like, I appreciate this. It was not my favorite Max and Fran. It's hard for me to like sit there and believe that Fran is this obtuse and Max is this obtuse when they keep doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
I liked most of the humor in this episode. I thought it was cute. I like the concept of like a reunion. I like that we got a little bit of Val in this. And I also love this like attic scene in the very beginning where they're going through a lot of like Fran's old things that she grew up with. But I thought it was really funny because it really reminds you that this takes place in the 90s when Fran makes references to her childhood in the 70s. And you're like, oh, fuck.
It's a whole thing. Like for those who are just joining us for the first time or forget this, Dylan and I watched these together and on mute, and we could watch each other's reactions. We had a special viewing guest this time, which was my aunt.
Yes,
and
icon.
So she was sitting there next to me, and she's cracking up the entire time. And she's telling me what all the references are as they're happening. And I can't remember. It was the moment where they were talking about Klaus. She's like, we went let me up to Rhode Island, and there's Klaus, and meanwhile, where was I? Upstairs with the wife. She barely said 2 words for me, and I didn't get that reference. I didn't know what it was.
I didn't either.
And my aunt just turned to me and she goes, "Oh," and I said, "What?" And she goes, "The wife was in a coma." And I was like, "Oh,
wait, what?" That is actually funny then.
I was like, "Shit, that's hysterical." But I didn't know what the reference was before that.
Interesting. It makes me wonder, like, so side note, over the holidays, my husband and I have watched a shit ton of Will and Grace.
Mm-hmm.
And it's curious to see a sitcom that has the same air, like the same tone as like the Nanny,
like
but
a similar
in a modern day.
Yeah.
And so I fucking love the new seasons of Will and Grace. Like,
they're good.
I felt like if you're gonna do a show where you take something that was like in the early 2000s, late 90s, and do it nowadays, that is how you do it. Where it's like it's littered with like references to nowadays, but in a way that I feel like will age better than what we get now in like the Nanny, where they are making references to like specific people, and that's tough because like with people, I mean, people are only relevant for so long,
or they're relevant for way different reasons. How many Trump references did we get in these 2 episodes?
Yeah.
In the second episode in Canasta Masta, they're going to Atlantic City and they talk about Trump Plaza and Trump Tower, or not Trump Tower, whatever. Because Trump used to own
Trump World. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, well, I mean, essentially, he used to own so many of the casinos along the beach. And now, I don't know if you know much about Atlantic City. It's pretty much defunct
like
now.
dead. Yeah,
Like a lot of those casinos have gone bankrupt. And I wonder why. It might be because of a certain mogul / ex-president. But a lot
Also,
of that,
Atlanta City, I've heard of, is just trashy. It's like
yeah, but it's
trashy
kind of
now.
like it's like a fun trashy to go to for a weekend. Like I actually I would absolutely effing love for like you guys to come in the summer and we go down for like 2 nights tops down because
To
that's
Atlantic City.
well, because here's the thing. The Jersey shoreline in the summer, and
Oh
I'm
wait,
gonna
is it
go
in
out
the
there and say
Jersey
that
Shore?
it's right on the Jersey Shore. It's one of the most southern parts on the Jersey Shore.
Oh,
So it's
then I definitely
warm
want to
and it's
go.
a really nice beach. And then you have the whole boardwalk. So that area is a lot of fun. And then they've got like shows and that kind of thing. It is like cheap version, I assume, of Las Vegas. And then like also way more depressing, a lot more drugs happening. But definitely worth going to for like a nice beach vacation. The Jersey Shore in general, for the exception of Atlantic City, charges for you to use the beach every single where. The Atlantic City beach is free. So you can literally go to the beach for free there, but you can't go to the beach anywhere else in New Jersey.
Interesting.
Sucks. Anyway, it's actually like a lot of fun.
So wait, you're paying for the beaches in Jersey, but they're shitty beaches?
No, you pay for. They have good beaches. They have
Oh, they have
really
good
nice beaches.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you were saying that they were shitty bitches.
No, I'm just saying it's shitty that you have to pay to go onto the beach.
They have shitty bitches. That's what
They
I
have
just
shitty
said.
bitches. Oh my God. A few years ago, like in 2013 or 14, my family and I went there for my birthday because I love casinos. So I was
Yeah.
like, this is happening. And we went for my birthday, and my sister-in-law, Vika, bought us 2 matching tanks that instead of saying thing 1 and thing 2, it said bitch 1 and bitch 2. And then we wore them on the Jersey Shore. And my dad literally turned to us and said, I actually think this is super trashy and I need you to stop wearing those. They were highlighter neon yellow. It was so fucking funny.
That's so gross.
Oh, it was amazing.
That's
Best
very
birthday
trash.
ever.
Okay, so this episode.
Yeah,
I have to talk about my outfit of the episode was definitely the pink pleather outfit at the very start with the zebra belt. So chic,
cute.
so cute. I also want to mention that Val had some really good looks in this episode, which I really appreciated. And this is a connection between the two. We got a lot different type of Niles in both these episodes.
Yeah.
So in the first one, we got not as much, but definitely like I had noticed that Niles in a few of the scenes, he'd be in the background, but he'd still be acting and he'd still be doing like funny things. Even if it's not like a big scene, it's just in his face. And then the second episode that we're going to be covering, Canasta Masta, he definitely had more physical comedy that was happening.
Definitely. He also, we're starting to see a different way of how he antagonizes Cece too. So it's not just one-liners. Now in the second episode,
getting violent.
It's getting violent. But you're also seeing him like, have like these premeditated things, like the fact that he's baking all these things in Canasta Masta for her. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of jumping and talking about both episodes.
That's fine.
Sorry about that. But I think that this is where, but we also see that like he doesn't always get the result he wants either. And Cece does have those moments where she either gets level or
she puts a gum in his pocket and slaps
just like little things like that you're like, okay, I kind of like that there's a little bit of Cece standing up for herself or giving it back to him. And this is where I think we're starting to see the tide turn just a little bit in that direction.
Yeah, I'm definitely here for it. I was a little sad that there was way less Cece in both these episodes. But the times that she was in it, she was really, really good. And specifically the first episode, it is so jarring to see Fran in flat hair that I had to do a double take. I was like, she looks like a different person. Like, she's not ugly. It's just
but it's not the look.
Different. Yeah, it's so weird. And I think like overall, I think Kindervelt was really good. My joke like of the episode, which I'm not going to do this all the time, but like my joke that I loved was the fact that the guy was gay, like clearly gay.
He's like, Maxwell Sheffield.
Oh my fucking god! I was in your show.
76 trombones. It's so good. Which, by the way, that's a new revival on Broadway. And Hugh Jackman is the lead right now.
Oh, daddy.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that this was a really good episode. I'm curious, what did your aunt feel about the first one? Since
she likes the first one a lot.
Yeah.
She was laughing a lot more at the first one. I think we both were.
Yeah, I definitely liked the first one more than the second one.
The first one was funnier and I think had more zingers and liners and such, but I felt like had a weaker plot altogether.
Definitely had a weaker plot.
Even though the second one's more predictable, it once again is highlighting Brighton over the other two.
Dude, and Brighton is killing it.
He's so good.
Like, let's just get into the second one because I want to talk about that one a bit. So Canasta Masta, like I said, that one I would probably give a 6 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot handle how good of an actor Brighton, the actor that plays Brighton is. Literally, I think season 2 is his season. Like MVP, I'll get back to my MVP and LVP for Kindervelt, but
sure.
MVP for Canasta Masta, hands down, is Brighton. Not just because of what his character does in the episode, but the actor themselves outacts like a large portion of the people in the show.
It's a really interesting thing because I'm almost through the series again.
You have a problem, Beth.
I do. I always felt like the first season was Gracie centric.
Definitely.
A lot of the time, although there were a couple Maggie episodes. I always feel like the second season is very Brighton centric. The third season and the fourth season go back to like more of a Maggie kind of situation. And I would say really they kind of steer back towards Maggie for probably the rest of the series. There's not really much they do with Gracie. There are some Gracie, not centric, but like Gracie will play a larger role in some of the episodes.
Especially as she gets older, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and I think it's an important thing. I think there's a reason why they go to Maggie is, Maggie's going to go to college and she's going to change, and you kind of want to see what does a teenager, young adult look like after Fran has raised them in their formative years, right? So I
totally
also one that clearly idolizes everything that Fran does, right? So I definitely think that's why. And this theme of Maxwell having certain expectations for what his son will do and how he wants him to be molded, and then Brighton's so different from him, will continue to be a thing as well. And I think that makes a lot of sense. And I understand now that I know that about, Madeline Zima, who played Gracie, like I understand that she's kind of used mostly as a prop. We've discussed it before, but her character kind of ends in a good place, but there's not as much of a transformation or journey.
Gracie actually gets Omar. That's awful.
They were really ahead of their time. It was so incredible.
Can you imagine that somehow in the 6th season they start talking about vaccines and shit?
Grace was very anti-vax and unfortunately died. It was so sad.
Maxwell Sheffield is totally an anti-vaxxer. Absolutely.
So
like the character is definitely.
It's so funny because in one of these episodes, sometime in the next, season or so, there's just a throwaway line where he admits that he's a Republican. Now, when you were, everybody was a centrist in the 90s. Everybody was a centrist in the 90s because it was the best market we'd had in a long time. Everyone's like, oh, Bill Clinton was such a great president. Look what he did for our economy. Anybody could have done that for the economy in the 90s. So everybody was a capitalist centrist at that time. So whether you were Republican or Democrat, you basically were the same exact thing back then, right? So regardless, he mentions that he's a Republican. He's also old money. Makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
When I have definitely thought about what would this cast look like in like a 2016 election.
Oh no.
I'm like, I got scared because I was like, Brighton 100% would vote for Trump.
Oh, for sure.
Maggie.
I think Fran would vote for Trump.
I don't think Fran would.
You don't think so?
No.
I feel like Fran is very influenced by the people around her. And I feel like if she's working for Maxwell, I feel like she would be
But she stands up so much for the little people. Like,
that's
you know
true.
what I mean?
There is that episode with like,
and she cares more about how people are treated than she does about social issues. And I think that she would see that she didn't like just think of, we were literally just talking about how the hell did Trump get elected in 2016 with like the Billy Bush interview and like making fun of a disabled reporter and like all those things. And I think that's the kind of thing that would have gotten her to say no to Trump more so than the issues. I think that Maxwell and Brighton would have voted for Trump but I think that everybody would have voted for Biden in 2020. Like, I think that would have been a shift and a change, but it's so funny. Like, I got thinking about that. I was like, ugh.
And Gracie would have been dead.
Yeah, because she died from the variant in 1998. It was real sad. 1999.
She was patient 0.
This has been incubating for 21 years.
It's weird in season 6.
It's like the reason why I'm obsessed with it and the reason why it's become a pandemic show is because it predicted it 20 years before it happened.
That would be fucking wild. That'd be so stupid.
Oh my God. Can I just tell you a brief story?
Yes.
I have a relative. I'm not going to say what their connection is to me, but they are basically, they're not QAnon, but they basically are. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't subscribe to QAnon, but the shit they say.
They show every trait that is relatable to someone who is QAnon.
They literally said, dead serious, and tried to convince us. And like we just didn't prod them about it because we were like, okay, we're not even going to play ball with this. This is so asinine. Literally said, Sesame Street's propaganda. They're trying to tell you something. There's a message there. There's a message there.
Yeah, it's your alphabet and how to count to 10.
And then said, yeah, the Peanuts comic strip too. All propaganda. There's hidden messages there. Wouldn't tell us what the hidden messages are and didn't know what the messages are. Just knows there's something behind that. That is subliminal. I'm like, yeah, it's Snoopy. So subliminal that you don't even know what it is. As an adult, you don't know what it is. That's how subliminal it is.
I can't. And that was Maggie.
Yeah.
Actually, that'd probably be Cece. No.
Cece's a capitalist.
Yeah.
For sure.
Cece's definitely, she doesn't care what party as long as they're.
Oh, let's be 100%. Cece would have voted for Trump in 2020. Oh, she's the one character.
I mean, yes, but I also think that like if there was a Democratic candidate that is like super pro money and is like trying to like really like focus on the economy and all that shit, I could see like that's all she cares about.
She could have voted for Hillary in 2016, actually.
Maybe I could see that.
It would have been interesting. Hillary's a very pro money capitalist person, so I could see that happening.
I could definitely see it.
Anyway.
Okay, before I forget, I want to get into my MVP and LVP for Kindervelt days. So my MVP for that episode would probably go to Maxwell because he stepped up and showed up when he needed to, even though he's really creepy during the dance. Also, his bulge in this episode, I swear you can see his dick. I swear you can see his fucking dick. I even fucking
which episode or which outfit?
When he comes out in the green tweed suit.
Oh, and she's on the phone with Val.
You can see the head of his dick in his pants.
I need to go back and watch.
Girl, I Googled. I was like, wait a minute. Please tell me someone didn't talk about this. Someone had to have talked about this.
You need to go back and take screenshots.
the entire episode, his pants were not sitting right. He full dick. You could
Can we also
basically
talk
see his full
about?
dick.
I was focusing on the fact his ass.
His ass looked great too.
His ass looked good. Those 90s pants did nothing for men. They did nothing for
not
men.
a damn thing.
And yet he turned around and I literally was like, ooh, the booty. Oh, can we also talk about the best line that you and I.
Wait, which one? I'm trying to remember.
He says,
the top. Yeah. Yeah.
He says, one of these days I'll top. What? He
said, one of these days I'll top this guy. And it's like some guy. And he's like, well, that's how a Fran feels about that girl. And I was like, no one's going to make the joke.
I know. I literally, as soon as he said, one of these days I'll top Andrew Lloyd Webber or whoever it is.
Yeah.
And like, you and I, if it weren't for the fact I was in the living room with my parents sitting right there and like, my aunt sitting next to me, I would have been like, gay laughter! You know, like it would have been, you gonna top it?
Gay scream.
Do you think Maxwell's a top verse or a bottom?
He's definitely a top.
Yeah,
there's no way he's
too.
letting a woman tell him what to do in the bedroom. He's such a
misogynist.
He's such a
here's
sexist.
The thing. I think that he thinks he's good in bed and that
he's definitely not good in bed.
And I don't think he is. No.
He's definitely not good in bed. No. He definitely I could see him
I don't think he
attention.
He eats a woman out. I think he
does. I think he eats pussy, but I think he doesn't eat pussy good.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think he knows where the clit is.
Definitely doesn't know where the clit is. I don't think he knows that is a thing. I don't even think he even knows.
I have another amazing story about clit. Okay. Hold on.
About clitorises.
So, one of the restaurants up here on the hill is called the Coach Light Inn.
We ate clit.
We ate clit. No, it's called the Coach Light Inn. It burned down in the very beginning of the pandemic. It was super sad. And so they've rebuilt it. It's absolutely gorgeous now. And honestly, like this probably in a weird way was one of the best things that could have happened to it because it was so old. It really needed a lot of work. And it just by happenstance, it burnt down. They were able to build it so brand new and they have all these wonderful things, blah, blah, blah. So now they sell merchandise. And my mom went in to buy a Christmas present for my uncle and for my dad. And she walked in, she went, oh, I want to get one of the hats. Like, because my dad wears hats all the time when he's like working out in the yard and that kind of thing. And they said, sure. Well, here's all the different hats that we have. And she pulls out one. Mom doesn't really like the logo that much. It's like a Harley Davidson kind of logo. She's, I don't know about that. They bring out another one. They're doing this stuff. And it all says Coach Light Inn. And this woman passes her a hat and it just says CLIT on it. And Mom goes,
shut up.
So what does this mean? She goes, it means Coach Light Inn too.
To why Coach Light Inn too?
Because it's the second Coach Light Inn that and Mom goes, yeah, I don't think that.
Did they not know? Did they knew? They had to have known.
Oh, they knew.
Oh, okay.
They're like, it stands for Coach Light Inn too. And my mom's like, yeah, my husband's not going to walk around with clit on his forehead. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, she's like, if he wanted clit on his forehead, I would just.
He doesn't have to walk around in that. He can just stay put, and we know where to go. I died. I was like, we're out here selling clit hats. That's what we're doing.
I love
That's what we're doing in rural
probably
New York.
Their number one selling hat.
CLIT. And I don't even know if there's periods in between each one. I think it just says clit. And like, you know what I mean?
So weird.
I know. Here's the best part. Even if you're from up here, nobody is going to think TWO for two.
With two. Yeah.
Like you would do CL, like the number 2.
Yeah. CLI.
Oh my God.
That's so stupid.
I was like, I kind of now want a clit hat.
No, please don't. I don't know if I can talk to you anymore.
Just on this podcast, I wear a clit hat once.
Just this clit. Okay, so that was sorry, my LVP for that episode. I think that's I can't remember. Is that the one where he hit CC?
No.
Okay.
That's the second one.
I'm gonna do something that unparamounted right now.
Oh.
I No, that was also not in that one. Is this the one where Maxwell grabs Fran's wrist really hard?
Nope.
He's like pulling at
That's
her.
Canasta Masta.
Okay, because I was gonna give him MVP and LVP. No, so then I will give LVP to Niles because he didn't go and offer himself up to go to the date with Fran. He also, I'm being biased, but he's also very wishy-washy in Canasta Masta.
Yeah.
And so he's just not a reliable person.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
going to give him LVP because of that.
Fair enough.
So for Canasta Masta, I have to talk about the outfit of the episode, which was hands down the yellow vest, pink shirt, pink jacket. No, because clearly they were inspired by Clueless. Even Maggie's outfit was so.
When did Clueless come out?
Let's see. I'm gonna Google this
because this would have been 94. So it could have been at the same time.
Clueless came out 95. So maybe they beat Clueless to the punch.
I just think this was kind of a theme that you saw in the late 80s, early 90s a lot, where like those matching bowling jackets as like a meme joke. Because didn't they also do something like that on like Family Matters and Full House? I know they had something like that. Like I just feel like this is like a recurring kind of like, what's a gaudy outfit that's like something matching that we can have the family doing or something.
Yeah, I think there definitely was like something to that because I mean, it looked great. I was like, oh, and then Fran had that like one piece of hair. That was Canasta Masta. Never mind.
That's what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, what am I talking about? Yeah, she had that one piece of hair.
We're talking about the bowling jackets though too, and that's the thing. Like, I love that whole scene. Well, first of all, let's just talk about the fact Maxwell's so sexist and so
oh my god,
and so homophobic for somebody who works in musical theater. Like
dude,
the fact that it's so cringe.
Shit.
But
it's
just like
so
he's
bad.
Like, my only son is going to be wearing a pink bowling thing with probably some lame name on it, like Flushing Queens, and like that kind of thing.
Was so funny.
I die every time because all I could think about is like Brighton would be the fiercest bitch in the room, being like, like he would own it.
Flushing Queen, and I play Canasta, bitch.
I really think that Brighton would have grown up to be like
homosexual. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I was gonna say like a queer Republican. You know what I mean? Like one of those who's just
oh my god, he's like super down low. He's definitely like getting a handy from the receptionist.
Or he's like that Milo guy, like the Milo. I don't think he's that bad, like that far right. But I do think that he could be like, you know, someone who clearly votes against his own interests kind of thing.
I could
because
see
he likes money.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. He was really, really good in this episode. I loved the acting. I love Yetta. I loved just like the whole vibe of them being on a Canasta team together. I thought that was really, really cute. And I also love that Morty seems like a fucking like just sad sack of shit. Like there's just poor Morty.
Oh, something to bring up from Canasta Masta.
Yeah.
Is Steve Lawrence from Steve and Edie.
Yes.
So he is actually going to make appearances randomly playing random characters from here on out throughout the rest of the series. It happens more later, like in season 4, 5, 6, but be on the lookout. So the first time he's on the show, he actually plays himself.
Interesting.
And
they
you never
were
see
just
Edie
like
again.
fans of the show.
I think so. I think they're friends. As far as I don't know too much about Steve and Edie, to be perfectly honest with you.
I did Google them.
Okay.
Because I did not get the reference. And so, yeah, Steve and Edie, here, fun fact. So Edie has passed away, sadly.
Sad.
She passed before her 85th birthday. But Steve is still kicking. And they lost they lost a large chunk of their music because there was like a fire that happened at Universal Studios back in 2008. But they seemed pretty successful. I've never heard of them before, which shows my age.
But here's the thing. Well, this is our generation. they were big before we were born. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they were the kind of people that would have been doing the like casino venue kind of tours of things as a duo act. I know that. So, but Steve Lawrence ends up, you know, kind of playing some fun characters every once in a while as a guest star. And I think it's safe to assume both of them are Jewish, and I think that they probably have that connection as well. So be on the lookout. In like 6 years, whenever we get to season 6 and 5 or whatever, remember when I said this.
Interesting. I will remember. I'm just like looking up. Oh, that's so sad.
What?
He has early stages of Alzheimer's. They showed signs, but apparently the treatment is working really well. Like this for slowing it down.
They actually just announced this week that they're pretty definitive that they might understand why Alzheimer's happens, which is good because that's never been what people knew. So now we might be able to figure out ways to prevent and treat it.
That's awesome. Because I know that a lot of science was pointing towards like dental health has something to do with, I can't remember if it's Alzheimer's or dementia, but like people that take care of their teeth and have healthier gums tend to have like less severe signs of dementia and Alzheimer's later in life. So I can't remember if there was like some correlation between that.
I can't remember. Honestly, my mom, my dad, and my aunt were all talking about it, and I was shiny hunting for Palkia, so I was like not 100% paying attention, but which I have done nearly 1,000 resets at this point.
Jesus, just for the legendary?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, I hope you get it.
I do too, because spoiler alert, we're trying to put together very quickly another Pokemon tournament, and we're going to do it in Pearl and Diamond. And at this point, I haven't beaten the game because I've been sitting here trying to get a shiny Palkia. So if I don't get it in the next couple of days, I'm going to defeat it now, and then I'll come back after I beat the Leaf Four and try to shiny hunt then.
Yeah, that's gross.
Well, it's 1 out of 4,082. So
you're getting there.
I'm a quarter of the way there.
It's only taken the entire holiday break.
I've only been doing like maybe 2 hours a day for 5 days.
Holy shit.
I felt so bad. All I could think about is all my friends on Switch being like, every 3 seconds it says Beth Dixon's now playing, or Augusta Wind 11 is now playing Pokemon Shining Pearl.
You're like, we get it, Beth. You haven't got the shiny hunting
yet. Turn your internet off, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So those were those 2 episodes, Kindervelt Days, Canasta Masta, both pretty solid. I really liked them. And I think like the takeaway from Canasta Masta for me is Brighton's amazing. And I really love that final scene with Niles and Cece, where Cece just gets that one up of seeing Niles just embarrass himself. Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to have to kill you now.
Oh, it's going to be really good. I really think that this is the slump in the series. The next couple of episodes have some like somewhat character development, as much as you can kind of have.
Cool.
So wait, did you say your MVP, LVP for Canasta Masta?
Yeah, my MVP was Brighton, and my LVP was Max.
That's
Maxwell.
Right. So the next episode is called The Will, and it's season 2, episode 17.
Okay.
What do you think The Will is?
I've got it. Okay. So The Will it's a Yetta-centric episode.
Okay.
And Yetta is getting up there in age. And so she has to start working on her will. And so Sylvia and Fran are helping her out. But the issue is that Yetta doesn't really have a lot of stuff, and so they're like fighting over like these like small little doodads, like the dumbest items, because it's very Yetta. Or Yetta has a shit ton of stuff because she is like a little thief, and we know that she's like kind of squirmy.
She's
like
a klepto.
She's a klepto. And so when they start to make the will, it ends up being overbearing because there's so much stuff that she has to give away that she doesn't know what to do. And the entire episode is them figuring out like, what the fuck are we supposed to do for Yetta's will? And Yetta's like bitching and moaning the entire time.
You're very wrong, but
damn it.
That
So would have been silly. Damn it.
I think this episode is a little bit more Maxwell centered.
Ooh, okay. All right. I'm here for it.
Fran and Max kind of each have their own things. So
oh, now I'm intrigued. Well, thank you all so much for listening in to our comeback of
her
season
scatterbrained analysis of 2 shows. Episodes.
Even though we talked a majority of the time not about the shows.
Well, this is the thing. When you have 2 weaker episodes, even if they're solid episodes and there's not much to talk about with these 2, it's like, they were good. We're kind of just chatting about it. But let's be honest. People don't listen to our coverage of The Nanny to get a play-by-play. They listen to us being dumb bitches.
It's true. The show is called Hot Mess Moments.
Yeah. It was almost called Dumb Bitch Energy, but then I decided not to have bitch in the name of a podcast title, which I'm happy about. Did I tell you my vice president has now said, can I have a name of all the podcasts that you do? And I went,
oh my God.
And I said, yeah. And then I did not give him this one, the amount of times I swear in it. So I did not give him Hot Mess Moments. I was like, yeah, I do my weekly meltdown and RHAPs. Yeah, it's like, but
I also do like pussy power, pucker pit. I don't know, something stupid. It's like
pussy power pucker pitch.
Oh God! All right, well, thank you all so much for listening.
Imagine if he came into office on Monday and was like, "What's this about a boonie hole?"
And then you have to like go and explain, explain what a booty hole is.
Well, it's
not what it sounds like, but it is.
I'm getting red thinking about it. Like it's like, ooh.
You just call me and I explain it. I'm like, so there's a character named Boone in Lost.
He has a hole.
And Jack kind of wants to see his butthole. And so there's a booty
They're
hole.
like, I watched Lost. I don't remember that. Oh, did you watch the same show we did? Because it was very apparent to us.
Yeah, we have like an entire episode of our podcast, Dumb Bitch Energy, that you can let you know. So thank you all so much for watching. If you want to, you can follow us at Hot Mess Moments on Twitter, where we post all of the updates of all of our shows, all of our coverage. All of our shows, all of our coverage. You can also follow me at 8-Bit Dylan. I stream on Twitch. Soon I'll be resurrecting my YouTube channel. Hopefully I will start uploading either this week or next week. We have some new fresh videos coming out. Beth, where can they find you?
You can find me at AugustaWind11 on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, the whole 9 yards. And I'm going to be coming back with a vengeance of podcasting this week. You can also catch me on Rob as a podcast coverage of Drag Race. We're doing a preview. We're recording that tomorrow on the 2nd of January, so it'll probably come out on Monday or Tuesday. Nice. Very excited. People have been chomping at the bit, waiting to hear what Liana Boris, Aman Adwin, and myself have to say about the season 14 Queens, what our thoughts are. I'm also going to be doing a Dragula review, season review, and finale review with Jeremy Carey and Aman Adwin on Rob Has a Podcast. That'll also come out later this week as well.
Nice.
And yeah, just feel free to tune in. We're having some good times here.
Just do it.
And if you want to talk anything about The Nanny, you can feel free to message me or talk to me on Twitter. If you want to talk about Lost, hit up Dylan. But remember that we are spoiler free, so we don't want to know anything about the shows that we don't know about.
Yeah, and we'll be back here on Thursday with our Lost coverage of the next 2 episodes of Lost. If you don't know where to watch The Nanny, you can check it on HBO Max. Lost, you can watch it on Hulu. And we'll be back on Thursday. And until then, bye.